Greetings and welcome. I'm Rebecca Carner, Biofield tuner. Let's just start today with a little sound and a little sonic grounding. Welcome, welcome. Today I'm filming this live on August 12th, 2026, which is the day of a big solar eclipse. And we are hot off the heels from a recurring calendar date, 8/8. That is really meaningful to many people. But this week and the energies specifically of today are, well, they're certainly intense for me. They're really intense for me, and they are really something else for many. So I just wanted today's tuning and transmission, I will talk a little bit like some concepts came through as I was preparing for this video, but no real thematic word came through. So let's all just join in breath wherever you are and whenever you find this video and watch it. Just arrive into your now moment. And I'm really, really going to, in this movement here, I'm really going to connect this collective field and ground it metaphysically and electromagnetically to our host planet, Earth. And the image that kind of comes to mind is when, like, they refuel Air Force One during flight, right? So it's two moving targets that sort of link so as to benefit whilst in motion. That's what we're doing, right? A collective field, the morphic field, morphing, moving, changing, evolving, shifting, right? The collective field is a moving target, and Earth herself is absolutely a transforming, moving entity. And so to intentionally link these two together as an orientation and as a beneficial reciprocation. You know what? I just realized I'm not sure what pickup is being used. My microphone is not plugged in, so let's start again. There we go. Hopefully you can hear that a little more clearly now, because hopefully my lapel mic is activated. Thank you. Okay. Really good, really good. The intensities of right now are profound. Whatever your experience is, Your experience is 100% your own. This much is true, but you are not alone. There. Whew. Wow. Again, it got really hot. I feel like I say that every video, but it's true every time. So there you have it. Okay. There. And it's really with humble appreciation that I ground this collective field to and into Earth. Just the sort of wave of humble gratitude is really knocking my socks off. Oh, Super Steve. Oh, thanks. Hi, welcome back, Super Steve. Good to have you. It's a big day today. Welcome, welcome. So the concepts that are really coming through, and they're pretty abstracted, are the idea of sort of an symmetrical but bidirectional energetic of and also and add to that then spiraling. I've been doing some research on DNA and shamanism, and the anthropological recurrence over time and over the globe of the idea of serpents or spiraling twin snakes, the caduceus, the ladder to heaven, all of these concepts, right, have repeated independently of each other over time. And abstracted out, that represents the sort of two-way sort of what as above so below, right, the law of correspondences quality of all things natural and universal. In biofield tuning, the toroidal shape, which if you made an infinity symbol in the middle with the central axis, and then the biofield that I tune comes out of the periphery, right, of a human form, but that's also mimics the heliosphere or whatever of the earth and of the sun and all of this sort of thing. And in that movement that makes the sort of donut, if you will. Oh, here. Oh, I have a visual aid, right? So here's my mini slinky, as one does. And then here is the human form as represented by a AA battery. And then, so the field that is then generated pulsing out, I don't really know how to do that here. I'll put it against my shirt there. That's the best background. So there is an upward rising motion. There is also a downward and then coming up rising motion simultaneously happening in a toroidal field. The sort of upward rising and downward rising coiling serpent of the caduceus also represents that same thing. One of the meditations on today, or maybe it was the 8-8 energies, was a former nurse talking about the bidirectional flow that she perceived was happening in any given portal. Often portals in energy work are described as, in effect, a doorway, right? An opening through which one passes as some sort of progressive gateway, if you will. But if you imagine, and in fact, because you can't make these things up, just this morning, I saw a spiraling representation of the flow of actual breath coming in and out of the body and in and out of the pulmonary system. And it had that same inhale, exhale, right, bidirectional sort of constant flow movement embedded in its nature. Right. Wow, 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 wow. That just came through really strongly. Okay. Now, intro, friends, the eclipse energy. What is an eclipse? Right? Whether it's lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, that has to do with the placement of those bodies in space vis-a-vis the relative vision of then Earth, right? But in the spiraling mechanics of it, an eclipse is when then one body comes in front or behind the other. Again, abstracted out, what that is represented by the sort of Venn diagram movement that is described as the Vesica Pisces energy. And it really is about like that phase lock motion when something then exactly lines up, kind of like, again, barrels on inside a lock, right? And it's when the barrels line up perfectly, right, that the key works or doesn't. And so that moment of eclipse, that meeting, that would be the biggest aperture and most free-flowing moment then of exchange. We often think and hope that we can receive benefit or that rescue is coming, but that's sort of a one-way ticket, right? That's a one-way movement. Whereas in truth, living energetics, which is what we are, the morphic field, one's individual biofield, as well as the collective field of humanity, as well as plants, animals, the earth, all the planets, all the galactics, all the things. It is an interactive field. One absolutely simultaneously uploads as well as downloads. And what that means in this time, and how to do that effectively. We're all living our best guess, aren't we? I know I am. Some days are better than others, right? Right. Okay. And really being present. This tuning today. And the clarifying aspect of what's happening right here, right now. And whenever you find this video and feel called to watch it, it will be exactly right for you then. Yep. So that's what this video is in service of. Not creating from what we have become as of right now, rather than creating from where we have been, are the energies right now, right? What has been is one circle, right? We can imagine anything you can imagine, you already know it's happened. You can envision it. That necessarily means it's in the past, right? And then intro the energy of like, right, what is possible, what I have become, emerging, evolving. And so this eclipse energy, right, is that moment where we can make in a new way what we want to make. May be completely different. Okay, then how does one do what one has no idea it is yet? Yup, I'm right there with you. Breathe. All right, let's breathe. Whew. Man, it kind of, if anybody wants to shake or shimmy, because wow. Yeah, there's no rigidity, right? You can't hold tight to anything. And that is blisteringly uncomfortable a lot of the time. Hmm. It's also fatiguing. I am so sympathetic to that. Yeah. Right. How do you know? Right. The messages are from the body. This is true. This is it. This is why being embodied, this is why caring for your body, right? Okay. Okay, Rebecca, I hear what you say. I'm tracking with you. We don't want to file the past and the future. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Then where's the manual? Like, literally, how do we do this? The knowing, the wisdom is resident in the body. We are the technology. We're not waiting for it. It's unpacking inside of us right now. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's funny. Like, truly, if anyone actually knew, like really, really knew, it'd already be here, wouldn't it? Yep, it really would. It's emerging. It's right on time. And we're just in it. Phooey. For some reason, it's credited in my mind to Lady Gaga during COVID times as saying, "We're not all in the same boat, but we're in the same storm." I don't know if that's true or not, but I like that concept, and I like the idea that she came up with it. And and I think that very much applies to right now. We are so conditioned, right? We're so conditioned not to trust. And the only real movement is like a complete self. Like a self-assured trust fall, I think are the words that want to come. A self-assured trust fall. It's not like egomaniacal, right? It's not like I'm right and I know the way. That's not it. but just knowing I know I can do this. I trust me to have carried myself and have arrived alive thus far in life. So let me trust that, not the way I did it, but that I did it, right? And then truly just let go and know that you can. Yeah. All right. The heat in the field has really calmed down a lot. Really good job, everyone. Really good job. Yeah, right. I got another comment right on time. Oh, Christina McKenna. Yes, girl. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. And know that as you go slow and as you breathe and as you come home and arrive to self, that those internal, right, sort of closed system moments of coherence provide coherent uplink to the greater field. Yeah. And that is so powerful. That is like the most impactful service one can offer. God, God, it is so funny. Like there's so many layers of deception, right? That's what they are. Matter is slow moving. Matter is dense. We can only do this. It takes matter to push matter. The bigger the matter, the harder the push. That's just not true. That's just not true. That's just not true. 12-ton stones were moved before hydraulics all over the world. We don't know how it got done. We don't know. But that is evidence that the horseshit that we have come to rely on, because things can get done that way. Yes, matter can push matter, faux show. But it isn't the only way. Also, if you don't apply yourself and if you sort of don't address topically a certain problem or a certain thing, then you're not doing anything. That's another layer of deception, right? The tiniest islands of coherence. I mean, this has already been proven. The Nobel Science Prize, I can't remember when, not that long ago, 2019, maybe ish, something. said that in an unstable, they proved it in the ways that make people feel that something is proved. I'll leave that right there. Uh, but they proved that in an unstable system that it only took a 10% coherent field, a coherent signal to then generate the next movement of said unstable system, right? That is an incredibly, it doesn't mean that only might makes right and that you have to overpower the whole thing. No, that's 10%. A 10% coherent signal became the dominant oscillator in an unstable field that created then the next fundament of structure. If one person in a group of 10, if 10 people in a building lobby of 100 people have cultivated coherence in their hearts, and everything else is erratic and static and noise around them, they will become the dominant oscillators in that immediate proximate field. This is powerful AF, friends. But the hype say, oh, you're not doing anything. Nope, nope. Not so. Au contraire, mon frère. Right? God, even that just, okay, let's, here, you know what? I'm going to use my own sternum and heart vortex as a proxy body. And on that note, yeah, let's generate coherence and deeper and wider breath, just like that. You are absolutely positively affecting everything around you. And then, for instance, things like leaves and plants and animals and dirt and rocks, glorious rocks, are even more influenceable because they are less crunked up than your average human is. They are only ever in their universal reciprocal exchange. So when you pass by them, regard them. When the bee passes by, and you're like, but I live in the country, I'm not even close to anybody. How am I going to influence a room of 100 people? You don't have to, right? That's what the air is for. That's what the waters are for. That's what animals are for. That's what the blades of grass are for. You absolutely are. It absolutely matters. God, I just want to weep. The strength of the signal right now is so, so tender. It's so beautiful. Wow. It's such an honor, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining today. 2026 is a trip, friends. Shoo-wee. ah. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm, 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 hmm. And really, if something, there's this little grind, the fork hit this kind of little grind right here that it's like okay, I'm tracking along. There's some people on the video. She's tuning the field. It feels right. It feels right now. But like, what happens in a hot minute when I'm all by myself, or later tonight when I woke up, brain a whirring in the middle of my bed, alone, feeling really alone? I have so deeply known Rebecca's own version of those feelings in the past 72 hours, 2 degrees that had big impact on my system. So it is with much heart and much personal understanding of my version of that, that I say this next thing. Whatever you do that is kind to all that is, and is as gentle as it can be, anything that you do to get through those moments, whether it's breathe, whether it's cry, whether it's turn towards a distraction that may not be great, if it's reach out, if it's even if it's being your not most beautiful self, but it's the most beautiful self that you can be in that moment. Whatever you do, give yourself grace and know that you did the best you could, and that is doing it. I've had some really rough moments lately, and a couple of them I would consider having taken a little bit of collateral damage, so to speak, right? It was hard on people that I cared about. I believe I had sort of measurable negative impact on some people around me, and that's okay. Like, it's not okay, and it's okay. It's okay. Because I'm here doing this morning. Emerging is hard. What did Pam Gregory? You can't make an omelet without cracking some eggs. Yeah, sister girl. I know what you're saying there. And, you always hope. What did Sam Harris so eloquently say that one time? The human project is to be less of an asshole less of the time. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, it really is that. We would all like that we would never be the asshole, right? I don't love being the asshole. I try really hard not to be the asshole. And if we're all honest, all of us were that person some of the time. And it's to take ownership, to allow self and others grace for when they're in that seat. Yeah. Kind of go back to, I think, last 2 weeks ago, the video was on space and grace. Give them the space and offer them the grace that their humanity showed in that way. That's right. Get through it the best you can, and go back to that 4 agreement. Always do your best. And even if that means that you were that person in that one moment, then that really was the best that you could do. And come back to yourself, come back to your breath, come back to best practices, wake up and try again. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, a lot of that grindy went down. Really good job. Really good job, you guys. Really good job. Yeah. All right, I'm going to do some harmonics because A and T and C and G are the 4 letters of DNA codes that I was steeping myself in that research last night. I'm going to do CG tuners. I'm going to do some harmonics, and then I'm going to wrap up the field. Yeah. In DNA, which I know I don't know, but I also know that the people who kind of think they know also don't know truly what all is going down with DNA. We don't know, friends. We don't know. And we're on the road to find out. But the A aspect can only link with the T aspect, and whether the T comes first and then the A, or the A and then the T, And same with CG, right? In the DNA helical laddering effect. And truly being open to the mystery. Are what these harmonics are. Being present to and in service, the intention of. Along that proverb, when the student asks, the teacher appears. It's like, I know I don't know about DNA, right? And I think it is fairly provable over so many artifacts, over so many millions of years, that C and G correspond to each other, right? So acoustically, this is our representation of C and G. So if when the student asks, the teacher appears in service to the unlocking and the involving and emerging potential of what that CG combination can be, all I can do is humbly stand here and ask. It is with that intention that I transmit that. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. I can feel your prayers joining mine. Thank you, friends. Right? This is a 417 and a 528. These in this way are not along the pentatonic note scale that Western music sensibilities are attuned to, but the differential between these two frequencies and the geometries that allude to the configurations held in the intention of the creation of these two tones in our acoustic range are another form of divine geometric correspondences that all I can do is humbly ask that in community, in intention, that the resonance and the clarity of the expression of these be more accessible with ease for us going forward. Yes. That's right. That's right. I am ordering the tone both in terms of sonically ascending tones as well as descending. Again, in reverence and observation of the bidirectional upload download. Interactivity, interdependency. Response ability. Really good. Wow, you guys. Thank you. That really feels complete. I can't feel anything else to do. I'm going to wrap up the field. This is phenomenal. Wow. Thanks. Thanks for being here. Wow, wow, wow. I felt a little bit on my back foot because I couldn't get a theme for today. I don't love titling my tunings on specific planetary movements because whenever you find this video, it's right on time. So I don't want people in the future to say, "Oh, well, it's not a solar eclipse today, so that video is not for me." And nope, that's just not the case. That's right. That's right. That's right. It got really heavy. Y'all, the future. It's pretty hilarious for Rebecca to say, "Don't be future tripping, y'all," because you know, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. I do that, right? But it really is like, you don't have to know the way knows the way. The future is coming. The future is also here. Yeah. Whoo, wow, right? That's a thing. Phew. Y'all, this has been a trip today. God. Whoo. Really big energy, really intense. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Channeling is strong today. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, the future. Yeah, wow. Maybe it won't go up because the future isn't in the future. The future is right now. The future is here. We're doing it. We're doing great. We're doing it. We're doing great. Offer yourself grace. Offer yourself forgiveness, right? Offer others forgiveness. Let the anger and the grief and the self-pity come in waves. Contain them to the least amount of overspray that you can. And do the best you can, you guys. This is phenomenal. Wow, yes. Nice. 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 Wow, you guys. That's it for today. This has been awesome. Thank you for joining. Thanks for being here. Super Stephen, so good to see you. I'm glad that you appreciate this. Feel free to reach out anytime. Chris, thanks, Chris. Until the next, everyone. Godspeed to us all. We're doing the thing. Hang in there. Oh, and if you've stayed this long, even though I've been doing this for years now, every other week, 2.5 years ago, I had to miss a week because I was out of the country, and I'm going to be traveling in 2 weeks. And so my video in 2 weeks' time, I may try and pre-record something right before I leave, but I think given the time change and connectivity and everything, I'm not hopeful that. So it is the exception that proves the rule that I do this every 2 weeks on a Wednesday morning, but I think I'm going to be missing at the end of August. So just a heads up. Anyway, until the next, best wishes. Love you all.